Now, the Insta360 Go Ultra is, of course, a fantastic tool for storytelling and content creation. The modular design where you've got this housing unit called the Action Pod, which houses the standalone POV unit, which is absolutely tiny, makes this camera super versatile, and the quality that it produces is also fantastic. I did a comparison between this guy and the DJI Action 5 Pro in a previous video of mine, so if you want to check that out to see which of those is a better choice for you, then do check out the link in the description below, as well as up here somewhere it will appear. I can never remember which side it is when I'm actually filming the videos, but it will appear somewhere on the screen. You'll get the little pop-up come up. However, how does this compare to the one camera that everybody has? And that is the camera that lives in your pocket. For me, this is the iPhone 17 Pro. And yes, both of them have their super unique use cases and functionalities. For example, the iPhone 17 Pro is on you at all times because it's basically the one device that pretty much everybody's going to keep on you. Now, I'm using the 17 Pro as an example, but this can be relatable to pretty much any smartphone these days. Whether you want this for actual content creation and documenting your life and putting it out there on the internet, or you just want to film family moments and things like that, which of these is better suited for that? So I'm going to do a very quick rundown of kind of the pros and cons of each of these guys and what makes each of them special. Now, in terms of the quality itself, and not just talking about the specs, I've got some side by side here that I did the other day when I took it out into central London to film some content. I put the iPhone 17 Pro into ultra wide mode to kind of match the perspective you're getting from the Go Ultra as well. But the iPhone was in the native camera app and the Go Ultra was in almost pretty much auto mode, just to give you an idea of how both of them perform in those kind of conditions. And it wasn't super bright outside. It was kind of a little bit of a low light because it's approaching evening, and some of it is maybe in the evening. I think it is nearing that 3:30, 4 o'clock timing. Of course, both produce fantastic quality footage. Both can film up to 4K 60 FPS. The iPhone has a slight advantage in the fact that it can film in modes like Apple Log 2, which is great for color grading. You know, it's got very advanced accessible filmmaking tools like additional apps like the Blackmagic camera app, things like that that can unlock additional, you know, ProRes RAW recording and things like that. But let's keep it simple. We're talking about the standard 4K 60 that comes out of the native camera app in this phone, because that's what most people are going to be using if you're watching this review. Now, if you do want a more advanced detailed comparison of all the codecs and all the kind of footage, then do leave a comment below. If enough of you guys are interested, then I might make a video like that as well. But you can see here, both of them look amazing. The Go Ultra does so well with the colors and things like that. You've got that 4K 60 built into it. You've got different stabilization modes. You've got different modes for different things. You've got a mini Titans mode where if you put the camera into that mode, you take this and you clip it to a child's hat, aiming it at their face. It gives you this really cool, funny, cute Titan effect. And I've seen it a whole bunch. I haven't tried it with my own kids because I think they're just going to slap it off and they don't really wear traditional kind of hats. But anyway, you know, you get so many cool things that you can use this with. So it's got a lot of different functionalities as well. But really, there are so many scenarios where both of these can be used. And because the Go Ultra is such a small camera, you can actually just take this with you everywhere. The standalone POV module will charge itself when it's inside of the pod, and the pod you can charge with any portable charger, so you don't really need a lot of accessories to use this like you would do maybe with a traditional camera. And because this is just so tiny, it's smaller than your iPhone. You can just pop this in your pocket and out you go if you want to film content with it. The other thing is it's rugged, meaning that once it's in the Action Pod, even outside the Action Pod, it can take a couple of hits. It's an action camera, so it's built for things like sports and action. And you know, using it in rough conditions is not going to be a problem, whereas your phone, you probably don't want to put it into certain types of conditions. Like your phone, I don't think you would risk strapping to a toddler so that you can get a POV out of them, or so that you can get that mini Titans mode effect out of them. They're just going to want to turn it on and play Cocomelon on it. Whereas with this guy, it's small and discreet. They're probably not going to know what they're doing with that thing, so they're just going to leave it alone, like my son did when I went to the Transport Museum with him and I strapped this to him. He just left it because he was just like, yeah, Dad's put something on me, it doesn't matter. And you know, I managed to get some footage out of that and record him running around enjoying himself that day. So that was a fantastic use case of this, whereas with the phone, I could never do that. So the modularity that the Go Ultra has is actually much more than you have with your phone. You can put this into so many different conditions. situations and so many different situations and use it in various different ways, different angles you can get. And the whole fact that the back plate of this is magnetic means that you can mount it to metal surfaces and film yourself with it. So it's a better storytelling tool. So if you want to film yourself and you don't really have much around you, for example, you can probably just find the nearest metal surface to you, like a piece of scaffolding or a metal, lamp or something like that, attach it to that, and then you can record yourself and film yourself with that. Plus the bonus is that you've got this flip up screen, or you've got this additional screen on the pod which connects directly to your standalone POV module, and you've got a good distance that it can stay connected for, meaning that you can monitor yourself whilst you're filming, so you get your framing and things like that right. With the iPhone, that's not as possible because you're not going to be able to leave this somewhere and it not get stolen, for one, but B, you're going to need additional things like tripods and a stand or something like that to be able to kind of put it somewhere. And the other thing is you can't really frame yourself unless you buy like an additional Bluetooth framing thing. Like, I don't know, there's some brands that do these kind of little tiny monitors that you can use to connect to the phone that mirrors the phone screen, but at that point you can't control the phone either, but whereas with this you can. So there you go, that's another benefit that this has over using your phone as a storytelling content creation tool. It's just something very handy to have in your bag at all times. Now both of these do have very similar sensor sizes and megapixel counts, with the iPhone having that triple 48 megapixel camera module, and the Go Ultra also has a 50 megapixel equivalent camera with a 1/128 sensor, which is, from what I know, the same as what the iPhone also has. So in terms of the sensor size and quality, you're getting very similar tech specs out of the two of these, but obviously there's software integration that can make one better than the other in certain situations. The iPhone, of course, has access to things like log mode, which I did not film in for the purposes of this video, just because it would be an unfair comparison to the Go Ultra. But both of these devices performed really well in the comparisons that I filmed here. You can see from the 60 FPS footage that I filmed that's been slowed down, you're getting really smooth footage, you're getting really crisp looking footage, even in the lighting conditions that they were in. No additional lighting was added, it's all natural lighting there, all in automatic settings. So, I didn't tamper with anything like that. And both of them performed really, really well. I also did a bit of a stabilization test, both in 4K 24 and 4K 60. And you can see both of them, again, perform equivalently, and the Go Ultra in that standard stabilization mode does an absolute fantastic job as well. And like I said, this was in low light, where it is a little bit harder to get good looking footage whilst being stabilized, just because when the sensor shifts you get this little bit of a jitter. But in 4K 60, both of them look absolutely fantastic in terms of stabilization, and I'm walking at the same pace. I'm not trying to smooth my walking, this is just natural walking, holding them out in front of me and walking, so neither of them are attached to me via POV. Now, one of the other use cases of the Go Ultra that trumps the iPhone, in my opinion, is the fact that this can be attached to you as a standalone POV unit. You'd have the neck strap like I demonstrated in my previous video, and you'll see some B-roll of here that you can use to attach the standalone unit to yourself with and get fantastic looking POV footage, which is something you can't really do with the iPhone without looking a little bit weird whilst you're out and about, because there are things that you can, you've got these neck mounts that you can get from third-party brands, which you can strap around your neck, pop your iPhone on top, and then you can get POV footage with those. But it looks a little bit silly out in public, whereas this is a lot more discreet. It's so small that when you have it popped onto you, nobody's going to look twice at you because you don't have something massive around your neck. So that's definitely an advantage that you have. However, one thing I will say that the iPhone is great at is that it's just that device that stays with you all the time. You don't have to remember to bring it with you somewhere like you would have to do with the Go Ultra or any other device like that, because it's just something that's always on your person. In this day and age, most people are not leaving the house without their phone. And if you want to capture some quick content, or you want to film a quick video while you're out and about, then definitely the iPhone is something that you could probably reach out for the most, because it's just something you have. Now, I don't want to long out this video more than it needs to be, because I think I've said everything I need to say about this little comparison. Now, I'm not going to say that there is a clear winner in either of these, because as mentioned, both have their advantages and both are absolute fantastic tools for storytelling and filmmaking. But I just think personally that the Go Ultra is a little bit more versatile, and also something that you can use and throw about a little bit more than your precious phones that obviously people spend a lot of money on, which is obviously something that you wouldn't want to easily replace if it got a little bit scuffed or damaged. I know people put cases on these things, because I do, screen protectors and all of this kind of stuff to keep them protected, whereas the Go Ultra and devices like this are built to be used in rough conditions and built to be used in different types of scenarios. You know, you can strap it to a motorbike, you can strap it to a car, and it will come out the other end undamaged, whereas the phone, you don't want to risk doing that to, just because of what it is. So it's really up to you guys how and when you want to use each of these devices. But if you have been thinking about getting that Go Ultra or a device like this, then I definitely recommend picking one of these guys up, because it is an absolute fantastic tool to have in your arsenal as a content creator, storyteller, filmmaker, whatever it is that you want to call yourself. Or if you just want to pick something up that's fun for day-to-day stuff, you're going to go traveling or on holiday and you want to capture great looking content and you don't want to risk getting your phone out in public or using it a lot while you're on about and traveling, you know, don't want to risk breaking it while you're on holiday or something like that, then definitely something like the Go Ultra is a very, very good choice to have on your person, because it just makes that easier. It's small, it's discreet, it's easy to use. Once you've got the settings dialed in, you just turn it on, press the button, and you're good to go. You don't have to open any separate apps, and you know, or be careful about how you're holding it, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to push it any further in this video. I'm going to leave you there with that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you make an informed decision as to whether to get one of these guys or not. If you do decide to grab one, then I have left the link to this down below. It is an affiliate link, and you can also use my code K24Tech at checkout, and that does give me a little bit of commission and helps the channel out and means that I can bring you more videos like this one. If you did find the video useful, then hit that like button and let me know in the comments below if you have any questions whatsoever about anything that I have mentioned in the video or about the Go Ultra, and I will do my best to answer them. If you enjoy my content in general and think you want to support the channel, then do hit that subscribe button if you want to, and I will leave it there until next time, guys. This is Kai24 signing out.